Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. I hope everybody's safe and healthy. I hope your family's safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in health, along with first responders doing their best to save lives, those that pick up garbage, keep places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings to the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Those out here trying to help and recover those that are prostitute victims and child prostitute victims, victims of pornography and child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators, profiteers, and those perverts that create the demands that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So we've been talking about how important this upcoming season is for the New York Knicks. It looks like they pretty much have most of, and they may have a couple of other, but they have most of the positions of assistant coaches filled. At this point, aside from, of course, Mike Brown, the head coach, and aside from the holdovers, Rick Brunson, Mark Bryant, Maurice Cheeks, Darren Ehrman from Tibbs' staff, you now have Brendan O'Connor, a defensive coordinator, Ricardo Fawaz, who probably be something more offense, and then there is a guy they're now talking to, Mike Weiner, with a name. But anyway, and apparently he is somebody that would specialize on the offensive side of the basketball. So the staff is coming together and the team is coming together. At this point, we still have the rookie spot and the vet men spot. And we may have one other spot. I think they might make a trade. That's just me thinking. I'm totally speculating right here. But it makes sense to me that they would make a trade to open up another roster spot, because they have really 3 two-way spots and 4 players that to me are NBA ready. Anton Watson, Marjon Beauchamp, Kevin McCullough, and of course Dink Pate. So they have 4 guys that could, play at the NBA level that may, like in the case of Pate, need more development. And in the case of McCullough, need more sharpening, because he probably could, once he's sharpened up a little bit, and need some G League time and development to get there. But in other words, there's 4 guys and there's 3 spots as far as two-way. So I believe that Beauchamp and Watson are both good enough to be on the regular roster. But they'd have to open up another spot. They're going to keep the vet spot for a guard, which should be either Shamet or Wright, in my view. I'm hearing a lot about Simmons, which I don't like. I saw some knucklehead showing videos of Simmons from his Philadelphia 76er days. He ain't been good since then. That's the problem with some people. They like fantasize about what a guy used to be, but he's not anymore, instead of seeing what he is. Okay? He's no good like that anymore. He doesn't do those things anymore. He's afraid to take layups now. Okay? So aside from the fact that his back is always hurt and he's going to miss 40 games for that, that's what's in his head. So I am not into Ben Simmons. I hope they don't waste a roster spot on him. I'd love to see a hard-working, defensive-oriented shooter like Shamet come back, or DeLon Wright, a steady Eddie, solid NBA guard that can play some defense and have some wingspan at 6'5", come back. But we'll see how that works out. There's still a vet minimum available, and one of those guys are going to get it. So we'll see how this works out. And then, of course, there's the rookie deal, which I still have marked for Mohamed Diawara. So we'll see how that works out. So anyway, it's all coming together at this time. What I'm about to say is almost going to be a waste of my breath, and I know it. It's like, it reminds me of Nancy Reagan. I know some of you don't even know who that is. This was this astrologer that was the wife of Ronald Reagan, the president. And one time they made this show of bringing some poor children into the White House, and one little child asked, "What should I do if somebody offers me drugs?" And Nancy Reagan said, "Just say no." And it became a big national thing. Just say no. It was willful ignorance because there were multiple economic and social and governmental things that involved getting crack into certain neighborhoods. It wasn't just say no, okay? And that doesn't even include all of the things of gang related that arose out of all the money that was coming like that. But just say no was almost a joke, which is why I say Knicksnation needs to be patient this year, which is like just say no. Because every game of the season, and I mean literally every game that the Knicks played last year, when they lose a game, which they lost last year 31, right? I always get people on the channel say they should have won that game. First of all, you should know me. I can't stand coulda, woulda, shoulda mofos. I can't stand that. These are the ones that come up behind after the Monday morning quarterbacks trying to tell you what you should have done that don't know what they're talking about even after the fact. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. They should have won that game. And if you listen to the totality of that BS, the Knicks should have gone 82-0 because they should have won all the games that they lost. How ridiculous does that sound? I only wish some of these knuckleheads would listen to themselves. But anyway, they should have won. They should have won. And it's always the coach. It's on Tibbs. They should have won. So in other words, Tibbs needs to have gotten them to 82-0. So this year, without even having to guess hard, there's going to be a lot of idiots out here telling them what they should have done to win a game. There's going to be even more of them saying it's on Mike Brown. The Knicks shouldn't have hired him. I'd like to ignore all of those people and keep them off my channel. You know, I feel like my channel is like my wife. Every once in a while, she cleans and waxes. We got hardwood floors, and she cleans and waxes them till they shine, And she don't, so I feel like it's like when she does that, we don't nobody coming in there tracking mud and doo-doo that stepped in crap and mud coming through there. And that's what I feel like with some of these people. I just clean the house, and some idiot coming in tracking mud and crap with these rumors about trades that don't make any sense. And that's another thing. That's why I was careful to introduce y'all to what I see coming next year, July, because some of y'all take this as your opportunity to bring out every diarrhea fantasy you might have heard in any channel. And I really don't want to hear it and don't want to know about it. I stay in touch with the NBA in terms of material that's out there publicly. And so if you heard something, I probably heard it already. And if you don't see me mention it, it's because it's not important in my view, especially with respect to fantasy trades, which people in Knicksnation love like catnip. So if I react badly to some of the idiocy you might bring to my channel, don't be surprised. But the Knicks will need patience this year. Championship seasons, every season, with respect to NBA, with a couple of exceptions being that 1 year Golden State won 73 games when the Bulls won 72 games. Those are kind of exceptional years. But generally, no season is linear, which means it doesn't just go straight up without losses. Every team suffers them. And being that this is Mike Brown's first year with the Knicks and he's under a lot of pressure, and the thing is about the media is they create drama. And that's what, again, some of y'all still don't get. Their job is not to journalize things from an objective perspective, like, say, Ian Begley does. But they are there to create drama, to poke holes in the team, to try to create drama in the locker room. That's what they're trying to do. And some of y'all follow with it. Me? No. I don't want no drama in the locker room. Neither does the Don, which is why he keeps things very close to the vest. He don't let nothing leak out. And that culture is part of the Knick culture now. Don't let nothing leak out. Keep it close to the vest. Keep it inside the locker room. And so when you hear this or hear that about what the Knicks have possibly done, you know right away it's garbage. When I brought what I brought last weekend with respect to next July, I did not bring it from a rumor I heard. I brought it from numbers looking at the upcoming teams, salary numbers, tax numbers, cap numbers. And then I make a logical decision that what I would do with such numbers and what that team based on its MO would do with such numbers. That's how we come to conclusions. It's not what we heard. It's not from some BS content. It's not clickbait. Okay? It's logic and common sense. So the Knicks need patience. And the real Knicks fans, which is what I'm trying to draw on this channel, the real Knicks fans, because this channel is for the Knicks, with the Knicks. The real Knicks fans always give the Knicks the benefit of the doubt. They don't start off with the Knicks mistake or the Knicks crucial mistake, and it's not. They start off with, okay, the Don knows what he's doing. Let me figure out what he's doing. That's the real Knicks fans. So I need y'all to be patient, to let the mistakes be made that's going to be made, to let the development happen with the rotation that's going to happen, to let Mike Brown and Mark Bryant, Maurice Cheeks, Rick Brunson, Brendan O'Connor, Ricardo Fawaz, let them figure out what they're doing. Take some time, okay? Let the team figure out what they're doing. Now, the good thing is that guys like Cat and McCall have now played a legit full season with Brunson, with OG, with Mitch Robb, well, not Mitch Robb, but with most of the team, and they understand and know each other. I really, with respect to Mitch Robb, I expect a little bit more, not out of him personally, but I mean the chemistry between him and Brunson, which is going to be another crucial thing. Brunson and Mitch Robb's chemistry are going to be very important because of Brunson's ability to throw that lob. Mitch Robb is the lob threat. You got to be able to throw it at the right time, right place. We know where he is. And that's going to be important because as a lob threat, when Brunson when Jalen gets into the paint, they got to guard Mitch Robb. Otherwise, he's going to flush it. So that's going to open up other opportunities. And the more they connect in that regard, that becomes a weapon that they can use along with all the other arsenals, the pick and roll weapon, the floater weapon, the corner three, open corner three. There's going to be a lot of weapons that the Knicks have that they can use. And so, of course, Brunson, the head of the snake, it's him that has to connect with these guys. Now, we still got, Josh Hart. He throws some wild passes sometimes, but he also throws some great passes sometimes. He keeps his head up and he's looking. Okay, we know Cat is a great passer from the 5 spot. So this is all going to work for the Knicks good, but it's going to take time. Okay, you're not going to come in 100% perfect from game one. It's going to take time. Just like with Tibbs, it take like 20, 30 games for him to get everything flowing. You still got to do that with Brown. Not that Brown and Tibbs are similar, but that Brown is new to the Knicks and needs that time to develop the team that he wants to have. Because the important thing is to have your rotation and your team set for the playoffs. That's what you want, okay? You want to still be playing your best ball in March and April and May and June especially. And the problem with Mike Brown that he has shown in his head coaching stints is that his teams do not play the best basketball in May and June. That's been his problem, with the exception of when he coached a young all-world LeBron James. But other than that, his teams peak early. And that's a problem. Okay, his teams peak early. Tibbs' teams peak late. And all defensive-oriented coaches, one day, like I said, I like to use Tibbs. I like to use Eric Spoelstra as an example. Defensive-oriented teams and defensive-oriented coaches peak late because their defense starts to get crunching around the trade deadline. And when it's on like that, and they got their schemes down, and they know what the other teams are doing, and they've played them all and know what to expect and react right to it, it starts to get tough. And that we knew that from Tiz. But with Brown, not so much. So that's why this Brendan O'Connor, the defensive coordinator, with Brown is going to be extremely important. That's why your development pieces with respect to the guards, Maurice Cheeks, with respect to the big men, Mark Bryant, are going to be important too. With Yabusele, and the young guns that are going to be under Maurice Cheeks, you're still going to be important. Okay, now, with respect to Rick Brunson, I've been saying this, but I'm sure some of y'all didn't get it yet. Rick Brunson, basically think of him as Jalen Brunson's personal coach. That's what he's being paid to be. He's not being paid to add any schemes to the Knicks coaches. He's not being paid to diagram any plays. He is Jalen Brunson's personal, private coach. And that's basically what he's been since Brunson's been playing ball. But on the Knicks, that's what he's surely been. That's why you see him and his father having private conversations on the sidelines during games, because he's coaching them up. That's Brunson's role. And he needs to be there. And for the head of your snake, you want him there. Okay? So we need to be patient. We need to let them develop. We need to let Brown do his thing, especially this year, because we need this chip. And Brown's got to break his mold of not playing their best basketball in spring. He got to break that mold and make them play the best basketball in the spring. Therefore, he's got to take his time, develop this squad, work with O'Connor and get that defense crunching, and be ready to go. Okay? Don't be surprised, though, if they start off fast. That don't mean nothing. Starting off fast, the rabbits start off fast and still lose the race to the turtle. You got to be steady. You got to be ready at the end of the season. Y'all enjoy your Tuesday. So